I was surprised to see a president, by means of the budget, offering up a plan that takes NASA out of the human spaceflight business. The president's policy has the effect of making NASA a science and technology agency with no mission function, no real role in human spaceflight other than to send money either to the Russians or to U.S. contractors. And I think that's a colossal mistake. It also flies in the face of more than 50 years of American space policy tradition, and it flies directly in the face of the founding words of the Space Act that created NASA. SpaceX, as well as, frankly, some other small space companies of which I'm aware, they have great engineering teams, young, vigorous, aggressive, dynamic engineering teams. And I think that that's one of the key ingredients for success. In the long run, I expect these commercial firms to be successful. I do. Not all will be successful, and we can't know which ones will succeed and which ones will fail. There is no company in the United States, from our largest to our smallest, which is yet even close to being ready to handle the unsupervised transportation of U.S. astronauts to space. I am the biggest fan of commercial space that you can imagine. It's just not here yet. And so to rely on something which is not here yet concerns me greatly. The existence of a commercial capability is not a reason for the government to have no capability. We need an American government space program for many reasons, not least of which is our stature in the world. I would remind all of our viewers that every time we have an accident in human spaceflight, and I've lived through 3 of them, 2 of them as a working engineer and lost friends on one. Every time we live through one of these accidents, NASA is criticized by the Congress and by the people of the nation for not being careful enough. There will be another accident. There will be more accidents. How does the U.S. government maintain its human spaceflight capability through private contractors only when, in the wake of an accident, it will be cheaper for a company to shut down operations than to forge through the investigation and the recovery? How do we do that? Only a government has the resources to work through the consequences of a human spaceflight accident.
I hope SpaceX will be one of the principal means by which NASA astronauts go to space. In order for us to have an exciting future in space again, and to have any hope of going back to the moon, and particularly in going on to Mars, we have to make huge improvements in both the cost and the reliability of space transport. I think that really can only be done by the private sector. We designed our system, our Falcon 9 rocket and our Dragon spacecraft, to meet the NASA human rating requirements. We obviously have a lot to prove, but I think we will. I do think that we will succeed, and we'll do a great job for the country and for NASA in transporting astronauts to low Earth orbit and hopefully at some point beyond that. And it's really if companies like SpaceX don't do it, I don't think it's going to get done. And NASA is certainly going to retain a strong role, really provide the oversight. It's important to acknowledge that SpaceX would not be where it is today without the help of NASA and all that NASA's done, both in the past and specifically for SpaceX. The rocket business is a very tough business. There are few things that have the level of technology challenge of rockets, and in order for us to make a significant difference to the cost of space transport, we really had to build everything from the ground up. So we had to design a lot of things from new. I think it's odd that the people that are trying to protect the old way of doing business, which I think is frankly a failed way of doing business. The old guard approach to solving this problem is to go and reuse technology from the Apollo era and from the shuttle era, stick them together, and hope that that's going to create a different outcome. It's not. I certainly hope that SpaceX is one of the companies that NASA selects to provide astronaut transport to the space station, and perhaps even, at some point even beyond the space station. I wouldn't even say that that is full conclusion that SpaceX will win. We have to demonstrate that we can deliver, in order to win.